is this type of cancer that is virtually 100% preventable, and yet thousands and thousands of people continue to be diagnosed with this disease year after year, simply because our society is embarrassed to talk about it. That is cervical cancer. Cervical cancer is currently the 4th most common cancer in women worldwide, and the first, in fact, it's top in some countries, mostly in sub-Saharan Africa. So where are we going wrong? Why in 2026 are we still having people having to suffer the effects of cervical cancer, yet we can actually prevent it? Yeah, we still have young kids who are growing, who are potential victims, yet we can protect them against it early. So that's what we talk about in this video. So cervical cancer is another cancer among the many cancers that exist here, which affects the part of the body called the cervix. So someone will wonder, what is the cervix? Yeah, the cervix is simply what I would call like the neck of the womb in ladies. Yeah? The lowermost part of the uterus has a part called the cervix, which connects it to the vaginal canal, then to the outside. Yeah? So that part is among the parts that are mostly affected by cancer. Many people are suffering in various cancer institutes in various countries because of this problem. And yet, the solutions are at our display. We just need to take them up. So cervical cancer is caused by a virus. Yeah? Unlike other cancers which are caused by things that are out of our control, environmental things, radiation, this particular one is caused by a virus called HPV. Yes? HPV enters our body through skin-to-skin contact. Yeah? Commonly through sexual intercourse. Once it comes into the body, it enters the body and starts growing slowly. It affects that, like the growing cells in the cervix, and then time comes where they are growing out of control, and that's how they form tumors, which tumors will extend down into the vaginal canal. Some go upwards towards the uterus, some just go outwards, yeah, and affect the bladder, affect the rectum. Some enter bladder and go to the lungs. Time comes when someone can't breathe. Some go to the bones, to the everywhere. You get. So, and it has been one of the leading causes of cancer deaths, yeah, in the world. So where we are missing it is that HPV is actually something that doesn't cause cancer within 1 year or within 1 month. Yeah, it's something even when it goes into the body, the first things that it forms are not cancerous. It's after like a period of 10 years that it will turn into cancer. That's an opportunity for us to act here. So HPV has a vaccine for it. Which vaccine? It's a matter of having that child who is not yet sexually exposed. We assume that they have not yet acquired the HPV, yes, because that's a common entry. Yeah. So it's a matter of getting that child, have them go and get vaccinated. Currently there are about 3 vaccines which are different. There is one that targets 2 subtypes of HPV, because HPV has types. Yeah, there are those types which are more likely to cause a cancer, and that is type 16 and type 18. Then there are those others which form the other remaining small percentage. Yeah? 70% of the cancers are caused by type 16 and 18, of which we have a vaccine called cervix. Cervix targets subtype 16 and 18, which are responsible for 70% of the cancers. And it's usually given within 1 or 2 doses. Yeah? It's a matter of taking that child, they get vaccinated. Usually after like 6 months, they get a second dose, and that is it. It's been effective, it's rolled out, it's available almost everywhere. Then there is a subtype also called Gardasil. Gardasil for it targets 4 subtypes. Yeah? So also it has 70% protection against both cervical cancer and warts, because this HPV also causes warts. Yeah? Then there is another one, Gardasil 9. For this one, it targets around 9 strains of HPV. Yeah, that means that one is 90% protection, which can also be got as a single dose or twice. Yeah, usually it's advisable to have it before exposure to HPV through sexual intercourse. However, for those who have already been exposed, usually you first go get tested for HPV, because there is a test for HPV. They will look into the sample you've taken, they check if HPV is already there. Because for some, you may have been exposed, but when you don't have HPV. So usually if it's confirmed, so you can also be vaccinated, yes? Then, for those that have been exposed, that one requires serial checking or serial screening, because this vaccine, it prevents the HPV does not cure it, you get. So either they treat you for HPV, but now the vaccine is out of the picture, yeah? And then you continuously screen, you get. So basically that is it. Then also still for those of us who are older, we are supposed to, like above 20, we are supposed to keep screening for cervical cancer at least every after 5 years. Then for those who are living with HIV, every after 3 years, because unlike usually HPV, when it comes into the body, those who have a strong immunity can fight. But when there is the HIV, we know it lowers that, it weakens the immunity, so there are higher chances of acquiring it. So we monitor more closely, yeah. So that should be checked after 3 years. You get it. How does HPV? What increases chances? Of course, if you have multiple sexual partners, if you start sex earlier, because when the body that part has not yet well grown, you increase risk. If you have STIs that are not treated, that means you keep having abrasions down there that can easily, like in case of an HPV, it enters as fast as it can. Then if you have, you're living with HIV, the immunity is weaker, so you need to keep even a keener eye. And then also smoking. Smoking has those components that weaken our protective mechanisms down there that help us to fight HPV. So it's also advisable to stop smoking if you have to prevent cervical cancer. Get vaccinated, get the children vaccinated, the girl children vaccinated for HPV. Circumcision for the boys, it's advisable. It's been found out that those who are not circumcised have a rate more than others. So I hope you find this video helpful. Go get vaccinated, go get that child vaccinated, yeah? Let's fight cervical cancer together. It's 100% preventable, 100% treatable within that 10-year period before it turns into the cancer. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel for more of such videos.